Next, we'll talk about the names list. And the names list is really comprised of the customer list that you see here. There's also a vendors list, there's an employees list, and there's an other names list. Now in our Pro and Premier software, the names list is limited to 14,500 total names, and again in QuickBooks we've increased it to 1,000,000. But what you're looking at here is our customer center. And on the left-hand side, you have a list of customers and jobs. On the right-hand side, you have the details of that particular customer and job. Here I can see a list of recent transactions. I could see multiple contacts. I could create to-dos. I could keep any sort of notes that I need to keep for that job. And as I mentioned, we now include the ability to see any email correspondence. Now you can also add custom fields for names. And in our Pro and Premier software, we allow you to add up to 15 custom fields between customers, vendors, and employees, with a maximum of 7 custom fields for any one name type. In QuickBooks Enterprise, we've increased that to 30 custom fields between customers, vendors, and employees, with a maximum of 12 for any one name type. Now again, we give you the ability to dictate what sort of information can go into that field, and we give you the ability to require the use. We've also increased list limits in a couple of other areas in QuickBooks Enterprise. This is your chart of accounts. And the chart of accounts in our Pro and Premier software is limited to 10,000 total accounts. And in QuickBooks Enterprise, we've increased that to 100,000. We've also increased the number of classes that you can add in QuickBooks Enterprise. And classes allow you to segment any significant portion of your business, so you can then run a profit and loss by class and a balance sheet by class. But in our Pro and Premier software, the class list is limited to 10,000 classes, and in QuickBooks Enterprise, we've increased that to 100,000. Next, we'll talk about the price level list. And price levels in QuickBooks allow you to set custom pricing for customers. There are 2 types of price levels. There's a fixed percentage, which allows you to mark up or mark down all of your items by a percentage. And then there's per item pricing. And per item pricing allows you to mark up or down one or more of your items, or dictate a particular price for a particular item. Now, in our Pro and Premier software, you're limited to 100 price levels. In QuickBooks Enterprise, we've increased that to 750. Next, we'll talk about our brand new advanced pricing add-on subscription. To turn on the advanced pricing module, I'll go to Edit and Preferences, Sales and Customers, Company Preferences, and here's where I can enable advanced pricing. When I turn on advanced pricing, QuickBooks is going to tell me that it's going to convert my existing price levels into price rules. Now I have a new option under List called the Price Rule List. Now to create a new price rule, I'll choose Price Rule at the bottom of the screen and choose New. Here's where I give it a name, and here is where it will allow me to add certain conditions or criteria to this price rule. It will allow me to choose between certain items, customers, class, or sales rep. Once I choose the criteria, it will give me the option to set a start date and an end date. It will allow me to set a price either by percentage or by amount, to be lower or higher than the base price or cost. It will also allow me to override any price change, and I can set a price rule as exclusive, which means that it will not combine with any other price rule. Advanced pricing also gives me the ability to set quantity discounts. So at a particular quantity, I can decide a particular price break when I choose this item and enter the appropriate quantity on a sales form. QuickBooks will automatically give the customer the appropriate quantity discount. Price rules will also allow me to easily see any discount that's being applied to a particular item, and it will also allow me to see the last price that I sold the item for. Next, we'll talk about the fixed asset items list. Fixed asset items list is where you will record all of your fixed assets in QuickBooks. You can record things like location, PO number, serial number, expiration warranties, any sort of notes that you need to keep on the asset. But in QuickBooks Enterprise, we go one step further, and we include the fixed asset manager. Now, the fixed asset manager is what will allow you to easily depreciate your assets in QuickBooks. All the standard schedules are included: federal, AMT, ACE, book, state, and other, which sort of allows you to create your own depreciation schedule. You can easily get reports on your fixed assets, and with just one click, you can then post journal entries right into QuickBooks Enterprise. Next, we'll talk about the Document Center. The Document Center will allow you to add an unlimited number of electronic or scanned documents to any of your QuickBooks records. And what that means is, if you had a transaction and wanted to attach a particular file to that transaction and attach a document from either your computer, a scanner, or a document that already exists in the Document Center. The blue icon tells you that you have a document attached to this particular transaction. And the last thing we'll talk about in the Track More Detail About Your Business section is our multi-currency capability. So in QuickBooks, you can create transactions for customers that you deal with in different currencies. You can also purchase from vendors that you deal with in different currencies and create bank accounts in different currencies. Now, this is a currency list. I think there are about 158 known currencies. Most are included on this list, and as long as the US dollar is your home currency, we'll allow you to download exchange rates right into QuickBooks Enterprise. Next, we'll talk about some things that allow you to track more detail about your inventory, and we'll go to the Inventory Center. Now, the Inventory Center is like most of our other centers in QuickBooks. You have a list of inventory items on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side is the detail of that particular inventory item. Now, the Inventory Center in QuickBooks Enterprise allows you to include an image of the item, gives you a list of recent transactions, and allows you to keep any sort of notes that you need to keep on the item. Now, we've also given you the ability to edit item sales price either based upon markup or margin, and that's brand new in version 14. Later we'll talk about our advanced inventory module, and if you had advanced inventory, you would also be able to narrow down the inventory center based upon site or location. Now the next thing exclusive to QuickBooks Enterprise is our enhanced inventory receiving capability. Now enhanced inventory receiving was a new feature added to QuickBooks Enterprise Solutions 13. And in effect what it does is it separates your item receipts from your bills. Now enhanced inventory receiving is great for those of you who may receive items before you receive a bill, or who may need to prepay for inventory items. One thing I will tell you about the enhanced inventory receiving function is that once you turn it on, it cannot be turned off. So I would encourage you to take a look at the help index before turning it on. To help you more easily find items that you're looking for, we include in QuickBooks Enterprise the Find and Select feature. This will allow you to easily find items based upon a keyword. And then you can easily add those items right onto your form. We also give you a way to keep track of sales price based upon cost with the automatic price markup feature. And what this allows you to do is if you're buying a particular item and your cost on that particular item increases, QuickBooks will first ask me if I want to update my cost, and if I answer yes to that, it will also give me the option to increase my sales price based upon that new cost. I mentioned earlier that we've added the ability to add a maximum reorder point. So now in QuickBooks you can add a minimum reorder point and a maximum reorder point. Now this ties into our auto create PO feature. So if you're running an inventory stock status by item report, this report is going to show you the status of all your items, including any items that you need to reorder. Now from this report, I can click on the Auto Create POs feature, and the system will show me all of the items that I need to reorder. Now the system is suggesting that I reorder a quantity of 14 because of the maximum reorder point that I have for this item of 20.